Right now in golf, there are, I think, two camps of people. There are the believers and the unbelievers when it comes to what I think is the biggest revolution in putting, but others say is just a gimmick. Of course, today I am talking about torque-free putters. What's taking the golf world by storm, we're seeing these putters out on tour more and more. On this show, we have looked at the first company to make a torque-free putter. We've looked at the most popular torque-free putters. In fact, I've looked at all of the torque-free putters that are out on the market except this one. Finally, in my hands, I've got the Bettinardi SB2 Antidote putter, their mallet version torque-free putter from a company that is known for exceptional feel, exceptional craftsmanship, and all-around great putting instruments. And if you haven't been a believer in torque-free putting and you're one of those people who think it's a gimmick, maybe today's video might change your mind. All right, here's your closer look. As you can see here on the head cover, milled in the USA. You also have that written on the shaft as well. So I love that story. I love to buy American made if possible. Boy, it's a beautiful one underneath the head cover as well. You can see that honeycomb pattern repeat. So they've really thought about the aesthetics of this one. Now, of course, aesthetics is one thing and build quality is another. And the build quality is exceptional. You've got beautiful milling here on the face. You've got horizontal grooves, then you've got circular brushing. We'll see what kind of roll this putter puts on the ball, but I imagine it's going to be a great one. We're actually going to test that out here as well. Now, looking down at this one from the top, this is the view you're normally going to be seeing, and for a zero torque putter, this is much more traditional mallet looking. Of course, it's center shafted like most of these zero torque putters are, but the shape of it is just a little bit more pleasing to the eye in my opinion. As you can see, it's really a two-piece construction. You've got the steel colored front end, you've got the blue on the back end, and you've got 4 screws back here that is tying that together. Now, interestingly enough, a lot of times we see a lot of weight towards the toe and heel with these zero torque putters, and that's again to keep it balanced. Bettinardi opted to actually cut this section out and actually remove some weight here. So it'll be interesting again to just kind of see how the balance is out there on course. Now, if I've got one gripe, it might be the grip itself. It is more of a standard grip, kind of rubberized rather than a soft touch, and it's also a little thinner than I like it. It's a pistol grip shape, which I do like. I think most people nowadays are probably opting for maybe a medium or a larger, thicker grip. So interesting choice there from Bettinardi, but it's subjective. Now, the SB2, in terms of aligning putts, you've got a center line there towards the face, and you've got 2 lines running here towards the rear. So it's almost like a triple stripe design. So if you're playing one of those Callaway balls, this actually could work really well for that. One thing that this one is missing is the ability to pick up a ball. There's no way to do that with this particular putter design. It keeps it nice and clean, which I like, but you older golfers might be a little dismayed by that lack of functionality. Now, I don't have a revealer, but you can see this one doesn't want to orient in any particular direction. It spins independently and freely, and it will land pretty much any direction. So truly a torque-free design from Bettinardi here. All right, so medium putt test here. What I'm gonna do is gonna walk off putts at about 8 feet distance. And again, if you've watched this show, you know that that's the distance that really to me is a critical distance for amateur golfers. The pros make these putts about 50% of the time, just under 50%, but amateurs only make them about 33% of the time. If we can make more putts from this range, we're gonna drop a few strokes every single round. So from 3 different areas, I'm gonna hit 8-foot putts here, 2 balls each. Let's see what happens. All right, that was dead center. That's a good start. Again, average here is for me to make 2 out of these 6 putts. And if we can improve on that, that's huge. Whew. We're already at the average after 2 putts. That bodes very, very well. This putt may be a little straighter, it looks like to me. That's our first miss. It did break off to the right a touch, so I just didn't get the line right there. So we're already at tour average here. Let's see if we can even improve on the tour average with the Antidote. This one should be breaking right to left now a little bit. Yeah, a little more than that. Again, let's see if now we know the line. Let's see if we can hit the putt. Yes. So I guess the only thing lacking right now is I need a good caddy to get me that line, because I've got the speed, I've got the control, and we made 4 out of 6 putts there. That's really, really good. So one thing I noticed here with this putter, and this is really where the craftsmanship of Bettinardi shines through in my opinion, is that with some putters, they sometimes skid coming off the face. And when that happens, it's really bad because immediately putters can go offline. And I've seen that with some of these zero torque putters where they skid coming off the face. This one puts a nice top spin onto the ball. And when that happens, putts are gonna hold their line and stay more true. So excellent job here from Bettinardi and what you'd expect from this level of maker. Let's go to the next test. All right, long putt test here. So I'm gonna pick a putt that's about 40 feet away. It's gonna be downhill. We gotta get the speed right. Let's see how we do with the Bettinardi Antidote. I've noticed with a lot of these zero torque putters, getting speed on long putts can sometimes be the little flaw that these ones have. Let's see how this one handles it. All right, now the green we've picked here for this test, it's gonna be a challenge because first of all, it's sloping very hard. It's gonna be moving right to left as I hit these putts, but on top of that, it's gonna pick up a lot of speed here at the end of this putt. So if we can get him into a 2-3 foot circle, that's gonna be a huge win here for the Antidote. And from this position, I'm actually going uphill first, so very, very tricky putt. Did I catch the slope correctly? Man, I'll tell you what, it's not bad for as difficult as this putt is, but we still probably have like 5 feet there. So I gotta hit it a little harder, see if I can dial in this distance. Nice pop coming off there. Not crazy fast, not lightning quick, but not too mushy either. I like the feel coming off the putter face. The sound is nice as well. Whoop, I ain't giving that too much break and too much speed. Yeah, that one could be almost de-greened. Very, very challenging putt that we've picked here. Let's see if third time's a charm. It's got to catch a little more speed coming down that hill. All right, that's a better result. So 2 out of 3, not bad there. Feel-wise, again, I like the pop coming off of this one. This putt obviously kind of got away from me, but getting used to a putter, that's normal. I got to get the speed right. Those are literally my first 3 long putts with this one. So let's try it again from another green, see if we can start to dial it in, maybe give ourselves a slightly easier putt. That was a very challenging one for sure, but definitely makeable 2 putts anyways. All right, so if that putt was a difficulty of like 11 out of 10, this one's gonna be much more straightforward. We only have 1 break to deal with. Again, let's see if we can dial in the distance here. I'm gonna give myself, again, about a 40 footer. This one's gonna be working left to right now. The opposite direction is the one we just had, but it's pretty much downhill all the way and it's gonna flatten out there towards the hole. All right, I gotta take a little speed off of this one and maybe not as much break. I really like zero torque putters for these long putts and getting the putt on line early because generally with standard putters, you take much more of an arcing swing, and oftentimes I either pull it or I push them. I don't have to think about it with these zero torque putters. I just have to think about the speed and of course getting the ball on line. So it makes a big difference. That second putt was pretty good, at least in terms of distance, really good. Now he's got to get the line right. Oh, hit the hole. Let's take one more. That time I think I got the speed. Maybe? Oh, we're a little short. Either way, all of these are pretty makeable. We'll be doing a medium putt and a short putt test next. All right, so we've talked about the feel of this putter and the pop coming off of it, which I think is really in the sweet spot in terms of what I like. In terms of looks, this is a much more traditional looking putter. It doesn't look too alien-like, especially with the lab putters. It takes a little bit of getting used to, and a lot of people just cannot get used to that shape of a putter. It looks like a satellite dish on the end of a shaft. This one has much more classic, refined looks, and that milled face really is offering exceptional feel. So I really like what Bettinardi's done here with the Antidote line. Not only this SB2, which is the mallet version, but also the SB1, which is more of a blade style putter. Still center shafted, but again, much more traditional looking. We're gonna be testing that one real soon, so do make sure you're subscribed as well, because if you're not a mallet guy, you're more of a blade person, that could be a better solution for you. All right, they're all critical tests, but the next test I think is also critical, especially if you like to play competitive golf like I have been doing a lot of recently. I've been playing in a lot of tournaments. In fact, our Interclub Carrollwood team is headed to the finals here of the FSGA, the Florida State Golf Association, at least our little pod. And if we win that, we're going to the state championship. So wish me luck. But 3-foot putts, 4-foot putts, these are ones that you're not going to be given in the competition, and these are where really separates the wheat from the chaff. Let's see how this one does. What I'm going to do in this drill here is we're going to put 7 balls around the cup, so they're all going to be slightly different breaks and reads, and let's see if we can go 7 for 7, obviously, is what we're hoping for. We've had a couple of these torque-free putters do that this year. We've also had a couple of these torque-free putters fall a little bit short. I'm feeling pretty good about this one so far. This one's breaking just a little right to left, but definitely not giving the hole away. All right. I feel like that one actually helped me because my stroke there was not a very good one, but that putter face did square up pretty nicely. You want to really have loose hands for these putts with these putters, because your hands can put torque into the putt, or your arms. You want to get rid of a lot of that, and you can do that by loosening up your grip. That's what I do with these shorter putts, and really just let the pendulum swing. Yep, missed one there. Better there, steadying the ship. Let's see if we can finish strong. Yeah, 3 more. I feel like I did enter in a little too much hands there, so again, I'm going to loosen my hands, loosen my grip up just a little bit here. And this ball, we're going to have to get out of the way if we're going to make this one. Not bad, but maybe not amazing there. The 2 putts I did miss, I absolutely kind of came across it, all right? So let's give it one more test here and see if we can improve on that. And again, I'm gonna really try to loosen up my grip and let the putter do the work, because if you don't, you can get unexpected results as we saw there. I pushed that one, bad one there. All right, so I missed 1 out of those 7 putts, and that one, I immediately knew that I actually tightened my grip and I pushed that one out to the right. So again, I think my best advice is keeping those hands loose, focusing your brain on that move. And if you do that, let the putter do the work, you're gonna hole a lot more of these ones and be more confident. Now, the other thing I really liked about how the SB2 performed on those short putts was, if you think of a bell curve in terms of a putter that you gotta swing really slowly, a putter that's right in the middle, and a putter that you have to swing really fast in order to generate more speed, this one's probably just a little right of center in the fact that it's got a nice amount of pop on it, but it's not too much. It's not too hot and sizzling coming off the face, and you don't have to work too hard, because again, if you have to work too hard, sometimes you enter a little torque into the equation. If you've ever tried a Bettinardi, you're gonna feel right at home with this putter out of the gates. It's not gonna be something you have to adjust to. I really like that about the SB2. So, wrapping this one up, I think this putter does a really good job here from the long putts, at least as good as any putter in this category. I think it did exceptionally well in that medium putt test, and that really was the bellwether for me, at least, that this putter is putting putts on line as they should be. And then of course on the short putt test, as long as I didn't enter that torque into the equation, this one performed exceptionally well again. If you like a mallet style putter, you want something that is torque free, that's a little bit more traditional looking, I think you really got to give the SB2 a shot. This is a solid performer and truly a torque free design. They've done an exceptional job at Bettinardi with this one. Now, there are some other torque free putters out on the market, which I'm going to be testing here on the show right up against this SB2 real soon. So do make sure that you're subscribed. And if you want to continue the torque free journey, I've got 2 putters you've got to look at right here. Hope you enjoyed this one. I'll catch you back next time on another edition of Let's Play Through.